information about the 4 million cedis development fee that, if you recall, Dr. Bayane Champong and Kene Japong raised concerns about as to why that should be the case. Eventually, from what we are hearing, they've had to pay. But Kwabena Japong as well, who raised concerns about it earlier, is the only one yet to pay this 4 million cedis development fee. Now, let's get into this. And Professor Samuel Adu Gyamfi is a political analyst and a senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Thank you, Prof, for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And if what we're hearing is anything to go by, earlier today, all 5 Flagbearer hopefuls were cleared by the vetting committee. They have the green light to contest. Friday, they're expected to ballot for their positions on the ballot paper, but then you have to pay the 4 million cedis development fee, or else you stand the risk of being disqualified. I mean, first off, let's start off with this entire balloting process and how crucial this is to the exercise, or what is going to be happening within the NPP. Prof, thank you for joining us.
It is essential that once you have potential candidates, who have put in their forms and are waiting in the queue to be called upon to do some of these vetting, and also, I think they've gone beyond some of these thresholds. But to cast a ballot and to be able to tell who lies at what end would lead to philosophizing around numbers. I'm sure around this time, the teaming followership of those individuals will be making projections based on what type of position number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and what it represents in numbers in terms of politics, and what it represents for a potential candidate who will win and who will not win. And I'm sure that a lot of analysis will come up to, quite often, Mbiti said, Africans are notoriously religious. I'm sure the prophets will get involved, the seers will get involved. Possibly there will be some neurological analysis, right? Around some of these things. It has the tendency to whip up sentiments, excitement, euphoria, and all that. But I'm hoping that even in this process, there will be fairness.
I see, but do these positions really matter? We've seen, at least in the 2024 elections, there was always that jostle for the first or second position because of the campaign messaging around it, at least over the years, right from 1992, 96 to the 2000 elections. Between NPP and NDC, there's always been either the top, the number 1, or the last position for the kind of campaign messaging. But we saw that unpopular position that John Mahama picked for the 2024 election. I say unpopular for the lack of better expression because of the kind of messaging we have seen in previous elections. There was no number 8 in there anyway. But then he's won the election. So really, is there any premium that the position brings to all of this?
They do not matter at all. Whether you are on the list as number 1 or 2 or 3, it will not matter. I think how you have marketed yourself, how you've endeared yourself to the people, your capacity to deliver the public good in terms of showing the party that you have the capacity to bring development, first of all, to the party, in your ability to reconcile their ranks, unite their front, and be able to present a more nuanced program that will be able to compete what the incumbent government is doing today, and how that can bring home victory to the NPP, for that matter, is what I believe should matter within the scheme of things. But like I said earlier, we are notoriously religious, and so the excitement would come about through religious sentiment and how we value what numbers are in terms of, people working around numerology. And I'm sure that in this religious silo, if you like, or conveyor belt, there's a likelihood that the prophets, the seers, and other religious pundits pundits will come out to want to work around the numbers and to raise a lot of interesting dynamics. But the sense of elections should rather suffice, i.e., your ability to market yourself, your posture, how you have been able to, endear yourself to the people, and the goodwill you have, among other things, should be able to drive home the results and not necessarily where you lie in terms of position.
On the ballot paper. But there's one issue. In fact, when this matter came up earlier, this 4 million cedis development fee, there were elements within the party who explained the reason why this is important. I recall we spoke, you had indicated there was a need for some raising of funds because the party is not in power. They need money to run the affairs of the party. So that could be another way of doing that. But we're learning of demands made by on Cabinet Japan to pay the said 4 million cedis, else he would not be allowed to progress, in fact, or as it were, go through the process till the end. It has become a condition even after the vetting. And if this is the case, how concerning is this?
Yes, because there's a need to be concerned from day one. Some of us have said that we cannot go on the tangent of moneycracy, but we need more technocratic, more practical-minded people, individuals who have the, if you like, the capacity to present leadership, either an amalgam or a mix of servant leadership, charismatic leadership, pragmatic leadership, among others, to drive the party to a position that would make it more viable. If you decide to want to hinge an individual's ability to contest in an internal democratic arrangement of a party, to be hinged on money, what you are trying to say is that the party is not really interested in leadership per se,
right,
but they are interested in the money they are taking from the people. If the NPP feels that they need money, they are in opposition and they need money, maybe they can go and do GoFundMe or something, or find additional ways of raising money, and not necessarily say that the individuals should be able to bring money to the table before they are allowed to contest. Here we are talking about 4 million Ghana cedis. Is that not the case?
Yes, that's the 4 million cedis. That's what is described as a development fee for the party.
Individual is unable to raise 4 million Ghana cedis. Should he or she not be able to contest in the party's primaries? But for me, that question must be answered. Where are they getting the money from? Some of them are businessmen. Some of them may have friends that will give it to them. But the question is that if the party needs funding, the party should find more nuanced ways of funding the party. And it leads me to the macro level analysis to this issue, that the political parties funding in Ghana, in this country, must be looked at. The idea that, executives of parties are able to force potential flag bearers and candidates to cough out monies like this, they do not augur well. It does not augur well for party building, because you don't only need money to build a party. You need credible ideas. You need the sense of synergy that is bred through right leadership. And when there is right leadership, the party on its own will become viable, marketable, acceptable, to allow people to want to contribute their money to fund the political party's activities. and not find it difficult to release money to support the political parties. But where do these parties, and here the NPP, historically, where has it been able to mobilize its money? I'm sure some businessmen have made contributions over the years. I'm sure well-wishers and individuals have made some contribution to the party. Some, maybe international organizations and other businessmen, have made contribution to the party. Maybe a proper audit of the party's account historically and how they've been able to fund their party will help us to further reflect on this conversation. But for me, it is worrying when potential candidates, individuals who have capacity and ideas, are jettisoned or pushed to the periphery, or they are not encouraged to come to the center of the political discourse of the party, i.e. even think about leading the party because they don't have 4 million Ghana cedis sitting in their account, or they cannot quickly, out of abracadabra movement, bring something or conjure some money to the table, or cough out 4 million Ghana cedis, so they are not allowed to be able to present themselves to contest some of these things. So it is worrying when the NPP, which historically has been seen to be democratic and has some internal democratic credentials and have even further contributed to refining Ghana's electoral processes, is today seen to be writing to or informing an individual that he may not be able to contest because he's not paid 4 million Ghana cedis.
I see. But
are they thinking about
Prof, we reached some persons who were close to him and associated to him, to, as it were, confirm this. They've been tight-lipped about it. They refuse to give us any confirmation or denial of this. But then again, should it be the case? You mean you expect those who are running against Kwabena Japan, that is the other four, to stand up for him? That is, if it is indeed the case that he is unable to raise this 4 million as a prerequisite for becoming a flag bearer, even though he's gone through the vetting, that these were ground rules set right from the beginning?
Oh, that is it. And I'll add something to that, if I do not know if we have time. But I'll tell you this. Politics must be based on ideas. Politics must be based on knowledge. Politics must be based on the practical scheme of things. Politics must be based on common sense. And when the ideas are not important, but money becomes overly an important subject beyond ideas, it leads us to potential corruption and thievery. And for me, that behavior that some of these political parties put up and seize the occasion to even sell a potential flag bearer a slot to individuals. Such slots are given to the highest bidder, the one who can pay huge money to support the campaign. The question is that, where do they get this money from to take those slots?
But then again,
it's becoming absurd, disgusting, and even sickening. So right. The least to say about this is that these gentlemen must have some protestation against the party's conduct.
Well, but how do you also respond to those who are of the view that the office of the president, the flag bearer for that matter, is not for men of straw, but for men who have the mettle to raise funds, as a matter of fact, because it's almost automatic that if you go through this process, you stand a chance, of becoming president if you're elected as flag bearer for both NPP and NDC. It's been a straight two-horse race over the period. So if that's the case, you must show something, some amount of capacity and the level of the strength to be able to carry the people along. Not only that, but also the ability to raise funds to run the affairs of the party run your own campaign. And they say that this is a test of it. Raise 4 million and help with the affairs of the party. Prof.
I do not want to be sarcastic, but I am of the view that if it's only about money, then people who are into cocaine business, who have joined some serious cartel, people who are armed robbers, who are into international robbery and crime, would be the first to qualify to lead political parties because they have money easily. And when we talk about men of straw, if I'm a university teacher and I've taught for years, I belong to a political party, I have ideas, fine ideas that can help build this country and build a political party. And today, I cannot cough out 4 million Ghana cedis. And because of that, I'm a man of straw. That's their own cup of tea. For me, it will define what party the NPP is, the kind of party it is. But I'm hoping and praying that they'll begin to rethink this posture. Because if it is only about financial resourcefulness, and even if you scale it up to macro level analysis about the state, if it were to be about natural resource per se, or financial resource per se, but not human resource, Africa would have been a continent to live in, and then would have come a begging. But the resources is not enough. Having gold, diamond, bauxite is not enough. You need a human resource.
Right. I thank you so much. I think points well made there, Professor Samuel Gyamfi.